All right, here we go. We're back. It's Monday. And it's time to get the logic working for the actual voting. So, this is kind of what we've been waiting for. I have built all the teleports, and now we're to the point where the show's going to begin. So, we're going to go in order. Prism's going to be first. So, we'll teleport whoever's going to be the model for Prism down there. They're going to walk down and back. Or maybe they walk down. The judges vote. And I teleport them out of there. They walk down, wait for the vote. Wait for all three votes. That'll be the part that they have to teach them. You walk down, wait to see all three votes, walk away. And then I'll teleport you away and the next person in, potentially. So let's see here. There's going to be a leaderboard. Not sure exactly where the leaderboard is going to be positioned. Bigger than we have the regular prism symbol. So at some point we'll have the leaderboard. I don't know if it's going to be behind them or on the side. But the prism, the gem. The gem symbol, confirm. Spark. And the ether. Symbols are a little big for the number that we're going to use. Maybe. Numbers are probably a little small for the... Hey, Wicked, thanks for dropping into chat. Good to see you. Thank you very much for dropping the ducky. Also, we don't have the decimal point quite yet. 2 looks a lot like a 9. Now that I'm looking at these a little closer. So it's time to vote. And I put the model for the Prism team on. They walk down. And we're going to allow the judges to start voting. So I started working on that before, but I wanted to get the other stuff kind of done first. Now we're back to this. So Roxy and I thought it would be really cool if we could decide how many judges are judging the event at the beginning of the experience, in case there aren't going to be 3 judges for an event. It might be 1 or 2. So if we could build that into the system, that would be ideal. Essentially, the system, if the system knows, I'm pretty sure I can figure this out. Essentially, the idea is if the system knows how many judges that there are going to be, then it'll know how many votes to wait for and what number to divide by to get the average of them. So divide by 1 for 1 judge, or not do that if I can avoid the operation. Divide by 2 for 2 judges and divide by 3 for 3 judges. So pretty simple. Set judge amount right here. So that's what we are doing with these logic pieces up on top of the leaderboard area. So let's see here. I don't know where my admin teleport is anymore. I don't know where Roxy's got it. There it is. On player join will spawn here. Let's go ahead and spawn up here. And so, what else were we looking through? So the judges' votes are global variables, global things that happen. Judge 1, so they can't all have the same messages that come out of their key inputs. So when we set the variable and the tag on judge 1, we're also going to give access to their 1 through 9. Vote judge 1.1, vote judge 1.2, but we're stopping at 5. We're just going to do 1 through 5. Okay, so this is cool. You're going to get access to your 1 through 5 on your keyboard on a judge when you get set up. Now, I thought that it would be easy to use askers as the middleman when you're not supposed to be doing votes. I don't think it should be too difficult here. And now the idea is that you get a confirmation. If you're a judge, the idea is I want you to get a confirmation with an asker. So you think the outfit should be a 3. So you push 3 on the keyboard, and then an asker pops up that says, are you sure that you want to score 3? And then once you do it, shut down your system until all the other judges have voted. And then basically, I hope that I can turn the askers back on when it's time to vote for the next person. So we should easily be able to do that with toggles when we figure out the logic for all this. Vote on, vote recorded, judge 1. I think I'm pretty close to on the right track. I don't know if it's the most optimized way to do it. I don't think I need to put a no message in. Could probably just leave that blank. You could use it for like, go ahead and make your vote now, or just like some sort of system message that says go ahead and vote now. Revote. But for now, I'm going to leave it blank. Confirm a score of 2. So this is going to be the third asker. So if the judge pushes the 3 on their keyboard, then they'll get this asker. If judge 1 pushes 3 on their keyboard, they'll get this asker. Confirm a score of 3. And if they do yes, then they will get vote.judge.1.3.yes. We will confirm it. This will only work if it's on. And vote recorded judge 1. We'll turn it off. And then turn on this will get turned on with judge.1. I think we can hit this one out of the rules so we don't have to make a bunch of messages probably. Alright, we'll try to keep it vote.reset for now, I guess. Oh, this one, yeah. Vote recorded judge 1. I think that's what I want to use because that's what's turning all of these off. Vote recorded judge 1. So once we record it, we'll go back and hit these. We'll turn this on. This one's initially on. And when you push things, it's going to say it's not time to vote. So judge.1. Vote.judge.1.2. Vote.judge.1.3. One dot four and 1.5. Get any of these messages while this asker's on, they'll get an asker that says it's not time to vote. Alright, let's go to the fourth one. Confirm a score of 4. And then we're doing 5. This is the last one. Confirm a score of 5. Vote.judge.1.5.yes. Hopefully I don't need to change these. So this is Judge 1's askers. So the first one is initially on, and it gets turned off with vote on, and the rest of these askers get turned on with vote on. So it's going to turn the first one off and the rest of them on. This is the message we need to send out when it's time to vote. I'll leave my buttons up here for the show right now. All right. So what do I want the order of operations to be for this to work? Let's say that this is vote.start, since I'm already using the base one vote. Vote.start to the rules. Vote start. Now, as I work through this stuff, I'll probably think of better ways to do things, potentially, and we can go back and fix things. But I think I'm on an okay train of thought still. So there's going to be a lot of rules in this. A lot of rules. Got here. Judge selection and voting system. It's going to be a lot of rules I'm going to have to do. I don't know if I'm going to do them all on stream. I'm trying to like just figure out the concepts on stream, and then I'll probably do all the boring, just doing all the messages and rules on my own as we figure out the systems. So we need to do this for Judge 1, Judge 2, Judge 3. But let's continue to try to figure out the main system. So I just made a button that said vote.start. What's that going to do? Roll. His name. Score Judge 1. Submitted votes from the judges. Final score. There were different things. So this will be the final score for Prism. So there's going to be a global variable for the current contestant that's competing. So let's call this the let's call this active team on catwalk, I guess, to try to help me remember. Wait, name already exists? Oh, cool. I named it exactly the same. What are the odds of that? Active team on catwalk. Perfect. So it starts at 0. And when I push this button, I think I want to use replace. No, I think I want to use math. So I can send a message afterwards. So vote.start. That means I'm going to grab the active team on the catwalk. And we're going to add 1 to it. And that's the new active team on the catwalk. And then we're going to say vote.on. So once I hit vote start, we're going to add 1 to the catwalk, and then vote.on is going to go out into the world. If you remember, vote.on is the message that flips these askers. So it's going to turn off this one that says it's not time to vote, and it's going to turn on these 5, which are going to start answering the key presses that Judge 1 presses. So if they press 1 to 5 on their keyboard, then these askers will be turned on now. So what messages come back? These yes ones. So the yes message is going to do 2 things, essentially. So let's see here. We've got let me just go ahead and do these quick. One dot judge 1.1 dot yes. We're gonna have score for Judge 1. Set to 1. Judge 2 is set to 2. Whoops. This stays Judge 1. These are all for Judge 1. Essentially, you could use message arguments and avoid replace variables, and then potentially use math to get messages out of it with message arguments. But we'll look into it if I need to send messages. I usually say message arguments for simpler things, but I'm not very good at using message arguments, I'll admit. So these things set the score judge to what they pressed. Once you vote recorded judge 1. It should be vote judge 1 dot recorded, but whatever. Vote recorded judge 1, vote recorded judge 1, vote recorded judge 1. Okay, I'm going to use this message. So this message is going to go out and flip the toggles. And I'm also going to use this message to try to check to see how many judges have voted. Hopefully that works. So we will be using math. Vote dot recorded judge 1. Submitted votes from judges. We're going to be checking this. We're going to add 1 to it when somebody votes. We're going to make that the new submitted votes from judges, and then we're going to vote check. Okay, so then we're going to compare numbers when we get vote check. And we're going to check the set amount judges. And if it's equal to the set amount judges, let's do vote.math. So once the vote check, the set amount of judges. Wait. That's not right. Once the submitted votes, once the submitted votes is equal to the set amount of judges, then we're going to vote math. Vote.math.
You probably know Vistaprint for business cards, but did you know we print everything you need to get your brand in front of your fan?
So I'm working through this off the top of my head. I've been thinking about it, but I wanted to do this stuff on stream. And I haven't been able to pull the thread in my head all the way. Figure out how this is going to do so. I might be stumbling through some of this. If we do vote math and we want it to always work, no matter how many judges are there, then I can add score judge 1. I can add score judge 2. Let's go. Look, wait. Final score on Prism team. No, that's not ready yet. Score total. Let's call this the score math. And then we'll just keep a number here after it. So we'll do vote math dot 1. So essentially this is vote math dot 0, vote math dot 1. Vote math dot 1. And then we're going to take score math and add judge 3 to it. Since I can't add 3 things together, and that's score math. Vote.math.1 or 2. We need this next step. So this is the third step. Vote.math.2. And we should be able to take the score math then divided by... Oh shit, I didn't make this a float. We'll figure it out. Score math divided by set amount of judges. And stay score math. And then a vote dot check team really quick though, score math. This is also going to probably be a float, and I hope it works that way. we need to make a decimal global. So this is going to be oh yes, score math formatting. Let's look at it. Okay, so it's gonna go to the 100th. I can't stop it at the 10th, I guess. Score math. So I'm change this to be a float variable, a decimal. Okay, so what is this little system trying to do? This little part is probably outside of it for the actual just judge one, and then we'll have these rules. So judge one, let's say judge one was the last person to vote. There's 3 judges, so vote check pops out. So vote recorded, judge one comes out, and it adds 1 to the submitted votes from judges, which is going to start at 0. As it adds 1, it continues to check to see if it's the set amount of judges that I set at the beginning of the show. Is there 1? Is there 2? Is there 3? Let's say there's 3. So if it's 1, then it won't send this message vote math because it's not equal to 3 yet, or whatever. But if it's 1, then it'll go through. If I say that it's 1, then it'll just be 1 judge. It'll be like 1 plus 0 plus 0 divided by itself. You're going to get the score. If there's 3, then we're going to wait for 3 votes, then start doing the math. It'll add all 3 together and then divide it by the set amount of judges, and then you'll have your score. Now we need to do vote check team because we need to know which team to assign the score to. So if we grab a compare a number, when we get vote.check.team, we're going to compare the active team on the catwalk. And if it's equal to 1, we'll do like vote.record prism. Vote record prism. If we get vote record prism, let's edit a number value. Vote record prism. I really wish you could send a message with edit number value. I might have to do this as math to make sure that I can send a reset message afterwards. And math shouldn't be too hard to use here because everybody's score is going to be 0. So if we get vote record prism, then I should be able to take a decimal, everything is going to be global. I do believe we can do, I mean, if the game holds up and everything, I can put a player variable on somebody and like record their score. Maybe if there's like for like persistent variables and data storage and keeping track of like your best score of all time. I don't know. But for now, I'm just going to do everything global, like it's just for the production that's taking place that week. Score for Prism. The formatting will have to see a decimal place and it'll start as a value of 0. Vote record Prism. And then we're going to add score math. Result is score Prism. And then vote to reset. Right? Something like that. Vote.reset. We're going to give this a save before we get any older. Vote.on. Vote.on is the message we're going to use. It's saying vote.start. So we're back to the beginning. Vote.start adds 1. We're back to vote.on. Now reset. We can use this reset message. Let's also just put it here. Vote.reset. Vote.reset. Score math times 0 is score math. We're going to take score judge 1 and multiply it by 0. You can also just replace all these numbers. I did this because I thought that I probably wanted to send a message after this. Score judge 2. Vote reset is going to change all this stuff back to 0. So we're ready for the next team. That's going to get to 0. Vote reset changes the submitted votes back to 0. And then I can push vote start again. Change it to the next team. I think I'm pretty happy with the way that's working. Now, one of the hardest parts I see in this, one of the most labor-intensive parts I see in this So, the system knows what the prism score is after this math rule. It's going to know what it is. So after this, we can use this message to try to determine what this number is. Now there's going to be 1 point. This is for the leaderboard to work, because I can't put variables on indicators, for example. I'm going to have everything in the logic, and probably use actor property switchers on those number assets we made. Potentially we can use separate messages here and just have a bigger reset thing, so I'm not checking so much stuff. But let me see. Let's just use this message for now and see what happens. So if we compare numbers, this probably should be his own whole board, this rules that I'm going to do here. But vote reset, we're going to compare numbers. So score prism is equal to 1.0, 1.1. Okay, so I can do that. Since it won't go to the 10th, I'm really not sure if this will work. I might hold off on this part and do this part later. We'll see what's happening just on the HUD. Make sure this stuff is working. And we'll come back and touch what messages are going to pop out for actor property switchers. But essentially, we're going to check to see what the score is equal to and then send out a message so the right actor property switchers talk to the score for the Prism team. So if you think about it, that's because you can only vote 1 through 5. So all the math of averages that you can get from 1 to 5, and I was hoping you could do it to the 10th. So essentially 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 times 10. So you could have 40 different scores. So that would require 40 different messages, 40 different actor property switcher systems per team to show the proper scores on the board. So I'm going to hold off doing that portion for now. And let's just make sure this logic works first. And I can go back and do that part. Roxy wasn't able to join us today, but he should be back tomorrow probably. I'm going to need some help testing this stuff to make sure it works. I don't want to get too far without testing it and then wonder where it's broken. So off stream, I'll probably finish up working the rest of the judges stuff that I have done so far. And then we'll get an admin HUD testing out the scores to make sure it works. But once this stuff gets figured out, the actor property switcher leaderboard, that part's going to be pretty difficult. It's going to be a long haul. But honestly, after I figure out this part, the experience, the logic of the experience is just going to come together really quickly. And it's essentially going to be pretty close to being done. So yeah, I'm super excited for this to get out there, and I hope people like it. Be on the lookout for Roxy asking people to make gear sets to be a part of the show, and maybe you could get yourself some sand prizes and stuff. That's going to be it for me today. We're almost at an hour. I'm going to try to be on a little later today. I'm going to try to be on a little later today to continue working on our pickaxe master game. Last week I did a little bit. I got the wood to start dropping and the inventory system. I know I need to make a global cooldown for that, so that's probably something I'll be working on. So we can't break the inventory system. And I want to get the fire working so that when you bring wood back to it, the fire will burn and can burn out and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll be back in a little bit to work on that for an hour. But until then, we had a good game today, team. Good practice. I appreciate you very much. Wicked, thanks for being here and dropping into chat. All the lurkers and everybody that dropped by during the stream, I appreciate you a ton. You'll never know how much. So, that being said, looks like Huddle is streaming, so we can rate her. All right, everybody, much love. I will talk to you later.